All right, welcome back. This is from one of your peers over there at 93.7 The Fan, Colin Dunlap. Doug Whaley just said on their show he could see Mike Tomlin leaving the Steelers for LSU or USC, laid out how Tomlin would be the CEO of those programs, how his message resonates better, and how transition now makes sense because of Roethlisberger's on his way out. Now, I respect Doug Whaley. He's a good dude. I like him. I just think this is kind of ridiculous thought. I mean, I could see how he came up with it, but there's no way a guy like Mike Tomlin wants to go into college, and the biggest reason why is recruiting. I just can't see Tomlin getting back into that and doing that after being in the NFL for so many years.
Despite what certain elements of the Pittsburgh sports media might have you believe, Doug Whaley's not a hot take artist. This is a guy who was Kevin Colbert's right-hand man. Do I think that what he's suggesting is particularly likely? No, I don't, because I think there's unrivaled job security in pro football being the Steelers' head coach, and I think Tomlin is more than wise enough to understand and accept that reality and know what that confers to him. That having been said, if the guy was looking for a major change of pace, going to LSU, especially, I think with the talent base in Louisiana, would be one way to get it. It would be unusual. We've never seen, to my understanding, Richie, I was trying to go through this with Andrew on the show today, an NFL coach who wins a Super Bowl at this level then goes and tries to pursue a national title at the collegiate level. It's always gone the other way. Pete Carroll wins a national title at USC, goes and wins a Super Bowl at the Seahawks. Barry Switzer, Oklahoma, then the Cowboys. Jimmy Johnson, Miami, and then the Cowboys. So this would be kind of a reversal of how it usually goes. But they could back up a truck for him at either one of those schools. I mean, the donors are deep-pocketed. Here's what I come back to as the main reason why, though, that it's not going to happen, among other things. And I just said the Steelers are, ultimate job security for a head coach. Remember when Jason Garrett got people all riled up at him because he insisted on being addressed as coach, and people thought that was completely preposterous for people that didn't play for him, or even some of his team that played for him. It's, it's all pros. It's not like high school level stuff here. Yeah. Mike Tomlin, I believe, was asked about that and said something essentially of, when a player accidentally called him Mike and then got sheepish and said, "Hey, coach, I'm sorry," he said, no, call me Mike. We're professionals working together in a professional environment. I think Mike Tomlin relishes that sort of professional football as business. Yes, it's a game, but he takes it seriously in that way. I don't think he would have a lot of patience, frankly. I don't think he'd be able to suffer, among other things, having to deal with, frankly, immature 18 to 21-year-olds in a lot of cases. I mean, granted, you get some kids who are wise beyond their years, but you want to go back to when you were 18, 19 years old, when I was 18, 19? I wouldn't want Mike Tomlin to have to deal with that version of me. He probably hates hearing from the version of me that's 36 years old right now. But I think that kind of desire to continue in that professional environment is a major thing that would keep him away from the college ranks.
Chris, the only reason I could come up with potentially him wanting to do that would be a chance to win a national championship. Being able to win a Super Bowl and a national title. Not too many coaches have done that. I just don't see Mike Tomlin out on the recruiting trail. I just don't see it. He doesn't have that kind of, I don't think that's him. I mean, I'm sure he could do it and be great at it. I just don't think that's something he wants to do.
He could go into a living room. No, I think he could go into a living room and impress any parents in America
no question
of any
about
football player. But that is a grind. Like Craig said on the show today, and I got to air Craig out here. We do this from time to time when he says something wild. He said that if Mike Tomlin went and coached Pitt, he thinks Pitt would win a national title within 5 years. Let me tell you something. I think Urban Meyer is a wretched, awful professional football coach. I think he is going to be fired probably after one season with Jacksonville, if I had to guess, if not midseason. But there is a far greater chance that Urban Meyer could go to Pitt because of his college experience and get them to a national title game or appearance or a win in 5 years than Mike Tomlin. And I don't even think that's really a close race there. As good as Tomlin is as a pro coach compared to how bad Meyer is, that's the flip side in the college ranks.
Okay, the one thing I would say is I think Mike Tomlin could go into the college ranks and out-recruit Urban Meyer.
I don't think so. Why would you think that?
Just because of his name and his personality, he would own a living room. I mean, guys want to play for him.
Yeah, you just said that yourself. Like, yeah, we agree that he would be able to talk to any parents, get any kid fired up, even if the kid doesn't really have an appreciation for all he's done within the sport. But you got to go to, like, Odessa, Texas, and sit in somebody's living room.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it.
The furniture hasn't been updated since 1979. I don't think that takes a certain level of want to actually sit there and charm people. That's why Nick Saban is so good in that in the college ranks, and that's why he failed as a pro coach. He tried to take the collegiate approach to the Dolphins. It was miserable. But Nick Saban can go into anybody's living room down in the South, kind of affect that Southern gentleman vibe, right?
Yeah.
And get everybody in that house wanting to have their kid play for Nick Saban. Mike Tomlin can do that, but that is a grinding.
Yeah.
I remember we talked to Dana Holgerson, Richie, when he was at West Virginia. Joe and I did this years ago on the show, and we asked him about some of the meals he had to eat, just like shoveling food down when he would go to visit recruits. And he was like, I can't lie to you guys. Some of it was absolutely nasty. Some of it I didn't even know what I was eating.
Yeah.
That is an inglorious lifestyle, even for these highly paid guys.
Yeah, I'm not saying he would want to, but I think Mike Tomlin could go out-recruit anyone just because of who he is. I'm not saying that he would want to do that. All right, let's go to the phone line. We got Bob out in Pittsburgh. How you doing, Bob? Bob, you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Go ahead.
Yes. I would like to know, listen, I believe the Steelers are going to be fine with this bye week. I don't believe, and as Cleveland is as good as they were claimed to be, now I believe the Steelers' problem is still with the Baltimore Ravens, one way or another. But as far as these corners that they have, they're going to have to get busy.
You know what? I mean, Cleveland has talent, and I think they could go on a run here if they get healthy. Yes, I think everything has to go through Baltimore this year. Even though I didn't think Baltimore would be. I thought everyone would be kind of the same. I didn't think Baltimore would be the team to beat this year, especially when they lost just about every running back on the team. That's when I didn't like them.
Lamar Jackson's been spectacular, but you got a pretty big game coming up. Cincinnati going into Baltimore this weekend, and I know the Ravens are about a touchdown favorite. Cincinnati wins that game to even up with Baltimore at 5-2 and get a head-to-head win in hand. I would suggest that everybody at that point, if you haven't already started taking the Bengals seriously, do so. Are you aware that that is a top 10 scoring and total defense in Cincinnati? Granted, the Packers are the best offense they've played, and they put a lot of yards on them, not a ton of points. And the other best offense they played did some damage. But Cincinnati's for real. People keep kind of writing them off as an afterthought because they're the Bengals. That might be the best pure quarterback, pure thrower of the football in the division in Joe Burrow. And they've got weapons. And they seem to have made a major right decision in taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell instead of going and bolstering that line. Because Chase looks like the obvious offensive rookie of the year. They are a legitimate team, in my opinion.
Yeah, no question about it. Frank out in Moon. How you doing, Frank?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Good.
I just want to make a quick comment about the Tomlin thing with you and Chris. I mean, I understand. We're talking about him maybe going to the college. First of all, I think he's too above himself to coach college kids. Second of all, he can't get the discipline out of an 18, 19, and 20-year-old kid because he can't get it out of the Steelers. So how is this guy going to go and deal with the media, which you guys criticize him a lot too? But how's he going to go work with all this alumni if he doesn't win?
That's a good point about.
That's the part of it he would hate. That's the part of it he would hate, Richie. That's the other thing neither of us mentioned. That's a good point.
It is.
You got to go to so many functions. You got to go to banquets. You got to glad hand. You got to pretend to be nice to people who are going to fork over big sums of money. I do think the head coach dynamic in college allows you to drop a hammer on players more disciplinary, in terms of discipline, than it does in the pros where everyone's a paid professional. I do think Tomlin would still have a little bit of an issue with it because it'd be such a change from what his MO is at the pros. But that last point's the best one right there by the caller, by Frank. You got to go to a lot of kind of annoying, time-consuming functions. You really got to be a handshaker, a guy that likes to kiss babies to raise money for the program.
Hey, Tomlin has a great personality. I think he would succeed in college. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Doug Whaley, I really respect him. And I understand that he's not sane, and it's not a hot take. And I understand how you could see it make sense, but I just don't see Tomlin in college football. I really don't. I think if somehow his tenure ended in Pittsburgh with the Steelers, he would end up with another NFL team. All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls. Some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.